This
For
conference will now be recorded.
our second quarter webinar. This one is spring cleaning your appraisal business. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Sally Carruthers. I am the CEO, President of True Union Appraisal Services, and I want to welcome you all this morning. I know you guys are busy, so a couple of housekeeping items. You guys are all on mute. I will give you my email address at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, please just contact me and we can go back and forth on that, and I can maybe share that with the group. I realize also that this is spring season, so we are all very busy. So this presentation probably is a little shorter than some of the others. If I say something that offends you, I apologize. I don't ever mean to do that. But like every appraiser, and I am an appraiser, we have some opinions, our own opinions. So I don't want to, that doesn't mean that it is intended for everybody, but I'm just going to say that right up front. And so spring cleaning our appraisal business, I'm just going to say, personally, I hate spring cleaning. I don't like any domestic chores anyway. So it just kind of makes me feel extremely tired. But I do think there are a lot of advantages to taking this time of year and looking at where we're at, reevaluating, cleaning out things, doing starting anew. I found this lovely quote by Leo Tolstoy where he says, "Spring is the time of plans and projects." Those of you who know Tolstoy or have read Tolstoy know that he is Russian, and I have to think that spring in Russia is an amazing time. Never been there, but after a long cold winter, I think it is a time when we reevaluate what we're doing and take a look around and want to clear the shelves and remove the dust and have some new beginnings, a little more maybe than January 1st. So a fresh start or something like that. So let's start with your office space. Let me see if I can reduce that. I have a thing that I'm not sure if you can see on there, but anyway, we all have our office spaces, most of us at this point in time anyway, working out of a space probably in our houses. Some of you will be still going to an office, but I think it's a good time to look around and look at the space that you're at and check it out and see if there's anything to clean out. And I'm very fortunate. I actually kind of read another quote about, I think it was from Ellen DeGeneres, where she said other people do spring clean, but she just moves. And I'm kind of fortunate I did actually just move, so I have a new office. So I was able to make sure that my office space was right for what I wanted to do. And I think it's a good idea to look around your space and make sure that it is the right space. And if not, if you are holed up with your laptop in the dining room and you've got the kids and the dogs kind of moving around you, is that the right space for you? You're in the basement, but you don't see any sunlight, and your wife comes down to do the laundry, or you're doing the laundry down there. Is it the right space for you? So, or you are still holding yourself to an office and commuting, 45 minutes an hour a day to get there on top of the drive that you're doing for your appraisal work. Is that the right space? So look around and decide. I think it's a good time. maybe you need to, you know, find somewhere else in your house or an office space or something else to make sure that you're in the correct space and that you're maximally productive in that area. I think it's a good idea, as you think of the spring cleaning, to inventory and declutter. Actually, I am a major declutterer to the point that I throw out things that I probably need. Um, but I know a lot of appraisers, and you walk into their office and there are boxes and boxes of stuff that they don't need. There are printers that gave up the ghost years ago. Screens. I think that computer screens tend to multiply in the way that metal hangers do. And so look around you, see what you can, you know, how you can declutter your office space. Once you declutter it, you can clean. Yikes, I know. But yes, there's, you know, and I just mean by cleaning off your work surface, cleaning off the worst thing in the world is that keyboard. Every, you know, thing I eat falls into the keyboard. So clean your keyboard, your screen, your the computer screen, whatever it is. It'll make you feel better, and organize. Um, I don't know how you keep your appraisal files. I really hope at this point in time, in 2021, we are actually doing this, you know, virtually, and that you are keeping your appraisal files online and or actually in the cloud or something, and that you don't have paper files around. And if you do, take a good look at them and realize that there is no point in keeping old appraisal files after their USPAP you know, time expires. So especially if they are physical files. So of course you have to keep them according to the USPAP requirements. So don't, you know, don't get rid of ones from, you know, 2 years ago or whatever. But make sure, but also if you have got physical files, organize them. Organize your office. I think I utilize the 4-pile method. I know that there is traditionally a 3-pile method, but I add one more into there. So you put into files. One pile is the ones that you're going to throw out. You're not going to throw it out, or you're going to, if it's paper, you might shred it. There are other things that you want to keep, but you don't want to keep them in your office. So think about a storage unit. They're fairly inexpensive, and something that you may want to do. You may want to donate. You might have older computer equipment, and that donation can be written off against your taxes. So pretty good idea to do that. And then obviously there are things that you're going to keep. I'm going to say this one because it really makes a huge difference. Hopefully you have a window in your office space. Clean it and open it. It's a good idea to get fresh air in. I'm a big believer, obviously I'm English, so we English kind of will open the windows even if it's 50 degrees. But clean your windows too. Get a look outside. Get rid of the paper. I think there are real advantages to being virtually paperless. You know, wherever you can, get rid of that paper and remove all the equipment that's not used or does not work. As I said, I go back to printers and lamps and screens, all kinds of things that sit around in our office space that just kind of gather dust that we don't need to have. So your second office, we all know what our second office is. It's your car, right? You guys spend a lot of time in your car. And you become very attached to your car since you spend so much time in it. So first thing, look at it, and is it time to replace it? You've got several 100,000 miles on it, and you're driving out into the boonies, and one day that car may not not make it. So, think about this. Is it, is it springtime? Is it time to spring for a new car? You guys are all incredibly busy, and you don't have time maybe to clean your car, or even maintain it. So just kind of sometimes, especially this time, fresh look. Is it time to clean your car? Maybe maintain it. I had a friend of mine who was an appraiser, of course, and it would drive me crazy. She had every piece of paper on file, and she would keep it all on the dashboard. Would drive me crazy. But also, thinking about that, is your car comfortable and healthy? Are you kind of getting back issues, leg issues, knee issues? Make sure that your car is comfortable and it's not impacting your health, driving around in it, and the seat is in the right place, and you've got the right comfort on your seat, and whatever you need to do. It's really important to stay healthy. And, I think that we should be concerned about a couple of things: the mileage that you do, and the cost of that, and also the environment. So, consider, is it time for an electric vehicle? I am absolutely amazed that the major car manufacturers are really moving towards electric vehicles, and I think they are, as far as for the cost of gas and the environmental impact, I think that could be a very good alternative, and especially for appraisers who are doing a lot of mileage, and do not want to spend that kind of money on gas. So I throw that one out there as a suggestion. So I think also springtime is a good time to look at your technology, and the tools that you have, especially your hardware. And this is, zip through this pretty quickly. Are your computers working? Are they fast? How many do you have, and how old are they? And when were they last maintained? Things like that. Obviously, that is your your bread and butter is in your computer, and how well that works. So I'm very kind of push this, that you every year, if not more, you look at what you're using. Is it efficient? Is it working quickly? How much storage do you have left on it? How old is it? And I know it's a pain to replace your computer, but actually it can be done very, very simply and very inexpensively. And there are some incredibly fast, efficient computers right now, and it may be time to move on to that. A lot of you guys are using tablets out in the field. Really cuts down on your office time, and really helps to kind of speed up the process. So there are many options on this. Of course, there's an iPad. And I know there's a new iPad coming out soon. So I think it is a good idea if that's something that works for you. Look at your mobile phone again. A lot of you live and die by your mobile phones, your cell phones. And do you have the most cost-efficient program with that? Do you have the most cost-efficient phone? How old is your phone? If you're like me, you kind of live by it. It's you use it for emails and text communications and everything else. So the phone is very important. Printers and scanners, these are very inexpensive right now, and actually the ink is more expensive than the printer. So and hopefully you're not printing out a lot of things, but you still need that in your computer. Computer screens. This is something that makes me laugh. I see appraisers, the pictures of the office with multiple screens, not just 2, 3, some of them. How big are they? How's your eyesight? It kind of makes a difference. How dirty are they? But a large, or for those of you who don't use multiple screens, it is very efficient, and the larger screens are really kind of tremendous, especially as you can line them up um, vertically with your appraisal reports. So I think there are a lot of advantages to that. So, have a chat with someone that knows computers that may be able to help you if you find that your technology is lacking in that area. And any other gadgets and things that you might have that computerized things that you may need. Headphones. I know a lot of you use headphones when you're out in the field, and other devices. So take a look at what you've got. Software. There are only a handful of appraisal software out there, software providers, I will say. But a lot of them are really very efficient. And if you spring for the kind of more advanced ones, I think that they can provide a lot of efficiency for you. Obviously, make sure your software is up to date, but I think some key things that you can expect out of it are communication, integrations to deliver appraisal reports, analytics, and then integrations with data sources too. One of our pet peeves that we see right now, comes back as a warning from Fannie Mae, is that you may have used a prior sale comp, and you reported a different, I don't know, conditional quality ranking. If you use the software correctly, or you have the good decent software, that'll give you a warning and say, hey, 453 Smith Road was used before, and you had a different condition ranking. So it saves you those revisions. But there are a lot of things that can be done with the new software. A lot of stuff that you can integrate, move around, and work with. So if you have a little time, spend it talking to the software providers and seeing what you can get from them. So other tools and connections. The thing that we see more than anything as an issue, and our credit union clients see, is kind of a problem with communication. And anything you can do to improve communication, that doesn't mean that you have to be on the phone with us the whole time. The communication obviously can be via our software, or an email or whatever. But I can tell you one annoying thing is when I try and call an appraiser and I find their voicemail is full. So really think about the communication you have, your access to emails, your access to voicemails. I mean, are you still using a tape measure? There are alternatives out there, Disto and other things, to make you more efficient. There are some I think floor plan software choices out there that can help you. You may need internet upgrades. You may just have a very slow internet connection that might need to be fixed. Appraisal management software. You may not just work with us, but our appraisal management software is available via mobile version. Also, you may decide to manage your appraisals with some software. I think there's something called a Now out there, and there's some other kind of options for you to be able to make sure that you are essentially managing your own appraisal work. Even if you're a single kind of proprietor, you may have at any given time over 20 open orders. And just to know the status of those, where they're going, when your appointments are, what appointments you have. that software can be really helpful to you. Also, at this time, you may want to look at your accounting software. Do you use something like QuickBooks? Can make you very, very efficient. So some kind of ideas out there that you may want to look at if you haven't used before. One thing I think is a good idea to look at every now and again is your actual appraisal report. And spring cleaning, I say, spring cleaning your appraisal report. I look at some appraisal reports and I think that for years, appraisers just keep on adding on stuff. We get some kind of use PAP requirement, and then we add on that. And then you add a use PAP addendum on top of it, and it becomes redundant. So, you happen to say that your exposure time is whatever, 3 times in the appraisal report or something else. And I think it's just sometimes a very, very good idea to take a look at your appraisal report and make sure that you are not repeating yourself, that the report is clear, concise, there's not redundant information in there. Something that I know gets to my QC staff, and I'm sure QC staff your other clients, and that's what I call addendum diarrhea. We just go on and on, and you're basically putting the same canned comment into your addendum in every report, and it's totally redundant and doesn't need to be there. And so take a look at what you've got as far as canned comments, templated things. Make sure that the spelling is correct. I mean, it's just incredibly annoying when you see very simple spelling errors or grammatical errors in an appraisal, in a professional appraisal report. And make sure your information is up to date. If you're referencing USPAP, make sure it's the most recent USPAP. If you're, and I see this again, that there are things that are referenced, definition of market value or whatever it is, and it's expired, it's old, it's not there. So make sure that all your information is up to date. And then organize your report for the reader. There are many ways. I wish everybody did their appraisal report in the same way, but they don't always. There are many ways to organize your report, but remember who your reader is. And I'm going to say your reader is us, the appraisal management company, the QC staff, and your lender. I know that it will be read by the borrower, but organize your report for the lender. I see many appraisers who put their photos in first, and then they get to the, so basically they're showing this is the property, these are the comparables I used, and this is the mapping for it, and then here is the actual form. It's up to you, but one thing I can tell you that is, as a reader of appraisal reports, is and the software doesn't automatically do this, you have to organize it. Very annoying to see comps 1, 2, and 3, and then comps 4, 5, and 6, and whatever, literally pages down the appraisal report. By that time, I've looked at pictures, I've looked at the certification. Oh, there are more comps. Okay, that's kind of annoying. The other thing is to find the addendum buried somewhere near the end of the appraisal report. So the addendum that is essentially referenced in the form, page 1, 2, or 3, is then at the end of the appraisal report. So you're flicking through that to try and figure that out. So just some things that you may want to look at. The other thing is own up to your errors. You make them. Everybody makes a mistake. We all make mistakes. It is something that we cannot help. You make a mistake, own up to it, correct it, move on. And that includes on appeals or whatever. I happen to like, and it's not, and I know most of my lenders like this too. When we send you a correction or we send you an underwriting thing, that you address that, right up on the front page. So I don't have to look for it. It's just really incredibly annoying to have to kind of go through 35, 40 pages to try to find if you corrected an issue. So, just a thought that maybe you would like to put that on page 1. And review for accuracy. And I know you guys are in a hurry. I know that you're busy, but just to kind of put one set of eyes before you send it really helps everything. That's my nag for the day. So something that I think is interesting, and we talk about quite a lot, is that especially when you're busy, and it's a good time to start thinking about this in spring, is perhaps hiring a trainee. And I know several of you have. I think that there are a lot of benefits to it. If you're thinking of it, and you don't know someone, begin with the state boards. They often have a list of people who've completed the trainee process. Measure the pros and cons of doing it. And, is it a good thing? What do I lose? What do I gain? That kind of thing. And for a lot of us, there are, the old concept is that you're training your competition. You know what? Realize that this is not a lifetime marriage, that a trainee will move probably onto something else, but it can be an enduring relationship. They will look to you as their mentor. And, in this day and age of appraisal management companies, I think training the competition is not really always, kind of something that we need to worry about. Mentor wisely, because they're gonna learn your bad habits, if you have any bad habits. And also teach more than just appraisal practice when you mentor. I think, being on time, making sure reports are turned in accurately and on time. Whatever those are, being polite to borrowers and asking the right questions. It's a lot more than just appraisal practice. So the trainee thing, I think, is a good thing if that works for you. We really want to encourage that, and we want to encourage some young people into our business. So I think there are some, real advantages to that. Okay, vacation time. Probably can't believe I'm actually saying that, but I think many appraisers need to take a vacation, and I see them getting burnt out. We're all burnt out. This has been a crazy time for us. We kind of worked through a pandemic, and we've been busy through a pandemic. We had low interest rates. We got a crazy, absolutely crazy housing market right now, crazy commercial market. And I think that it's a good time to think about a vacation. Start planning one. When was the last time that you had one? And don't just kind of get on a flight to Vegas right now, but start to think about it and plan and execute. When you do that, communicate obviously your plans with your clients, with us, and stay in touch. There is nothing more annoying than an appraiser going on vacation and we need a correction or an underwriting thing done, and they have just completely cut ties. I don't mean that you have to always be working on your vacation, but at least have some kind of contingency for something that's needed. But I think it's a good time to start thinking about a vacation. And I hate to say that because you guys are busy and we want you to do our orders, but really think about it. At this time, I see a lot of travel opening up. People are getting on airplanes and they're traveling by car, going to the beach, going to Vegas, doing whatever. International travel is a little hard right now, but think about your vacation. Many of you have not had one for a long time. Now, something that I think is really important and kind of showed up for us in the last year. I want to kind of backtrack for us as an AMC. We are required to have a procedure, a policy around business continuity by our clients. As part of our audit, we have a SOC audit every year. And basically, it's kind of what do we do in an emergency? How can we keep on doing business when things fall down? And for those of you in Texas, you know what happened earlier this year. And we've had several other situations, never mind the pandemic. And I think that appraisers don't really think about this. I know they don't. And so, in Texas, in February, they had no power, no water, and everything just kind of went to pot. So I think it really is, as we're in spring, a good time for you to think about what happens. What happens if things get messed up? We have weather conditions, we have hurricanes, we have tornadoes, we have floods, we have all kinds of things going on. We have a pandemic, and so plan for emergency. What happens if you lose power, water, internet, or anything else? Make sure you back up your computer daily. I cannot tell you how many times we have had really major delays because appraisers have lost appraisal reports because of an emergency. They lost power, whatever, or their computer just simply crashed, and they haven't been able to do a correction, or they haven't been able to continue an appraisal or anything else. So really start to think about this. Where's your backup? Where are you going to work if you can't work in your house? And I really advise each one of you to take a bit of time, a little bit of time, like we have had to do as a business ourselves, and write a business continuity plan and use it. And think of all the situations that you may have experienced in the past or experienced in the future. You guys are businesses. We rely on you. Your clients, lenders, credit unions rely on you, and they have a business continuity plan. If you are a member of a credit union and you need to access your money, you can't be just expect the credit union to go down for a week and not access the money. They have to have some kind of continuity plan. And so do we. And we literally, when the pandemic went, when it was first kind of named back in early April early March, get it right, of last year, we moved all our employees according to our business continuity plan to home offices without a glitch. And we had that plan in place. We knew what to do. If you are struck by some kind of emergency that impacts your business, let us know immediately, and we can work around that. But really, if out of anything in this webinar, if you don't get this, I think it's probably the most important thing I can say. Write a business continuity plan and use it. Be ready for all the things that we get sent. That's my lecture for the day. Maybe it's time for you to spring clean your clients. We have actually done this a little bit. Look at, and I don't mean that you get rid of us, because I hope we're a good client, but really start to evaluate what makes a good client, what makes a bad client. Do they pay well? Do they pay frequently? Do they pay quickly? Are they easy to communicate with? Do you like them? Whatever it is, do they send a lot of correction requests? We work with credit unions because we find credit unions very easy to work with. They are they're super people. They are very customer orientated, and they are, we really enjoy them. We have a few clients that are not credit unions, and you see the difference. So we kind of have made our decisions on what kind of clients we like. And we try to mimic the credit union relationship with our employees and with our appraisers, our appraiser partners. So when you're looking at a good client, also look at what a bad client is. And we've had a few, and whether they are expecting too much from you, unrealistic turn times, tons of corrections, and whatever it is that you doesn't work with, they want to send you miles away. They bug you at 10 o'clock at night. Whatever it is that you can't live with, look at what is a bad client. And like any relationship, eliminate a toxic relationship. It will make you healthier and better if it doesn't work for you. Keep the best and always be on the lookout for good new clients. And with that, also shuffle the client mix. You may want to do some non-lender clients or non-AMC clients or whatever it is, but be open to shuffling that mix. But I cannot underestimate that kind of thing of eliminating toxic relationships. I think you do that in life and you do that with clients. It doesn't help to have a toxic client. Also, I think springtime is a good time for you to look at your coverage area. Is it working for you? I always had this kind of, when I was out in the field, I had one main county. I actually lived in Columbus, Ohio. I had a main county, and then we had secondary counties, the suburban areas around Columbus. The problem I would find is that once I got kind of beyond almost the county seat of those secondary counties, it really didn't work. We were, at that point, you were driving a long way, your data sources weren't good, and some point that doesn't work for you. I don't know where you're located, but at some point you have to look at how far you're driving. Could you do more if you shrunk that coverage area? Or are you in a particular county, but you're cherry picking orders on a particular zip code? So, is it time just to say, maybe I just shouldn't do that county? And instead, maybe I could do this county because I have really good data on that county. And are you including some analytics in your business to determine coverage? So turn times and efficiency on where you're working is a good time to start looking at that coverage area. So another thing, and it's springtime, we all have lots of kind of want to get outside and be healthy. And I think that it's really important for appraisers to ensure that they have a health check and make sure that they are healthy. We've had many of our appraisers in the last year get sick. Some of them very sick, and unfortunately we have lost a couple of appraisers too from COVID. I would encourage you to get the COVID vaccine if you haven't, if that's safe for you to do so. I think it gives a peace of mind, and I think the alternative is a lot better than getting COVID from what I've seen and experienced. So I think that is a really good idea. And of course, at this time, until we have, a herd immunity or whatever, keep wearing a mask and social distance. And are you taking time for your health? I think it's a good time to look at that. We get busy, we sit at our computers all the time. I recently got a standing desk because I just realized I was sitting. Sometimes you need to take some time. You're in the car, are you eating properly? Going through McDonald's every day, or, eating on the run. And you're probably not drinking enough water. Are you exercising? All these things are really important. We just see some you know statistics with the health of appraisers that really concerns me. And you guys are under a lot of stress, and you have work situations that are not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. And I want to make sure that each one of you is taking time for your health and looking at that, and making sure that you're making good choices on that. One thing that you're not in this as a charity, are you, as appraisers? Remember that this is, you're appraising for a profit. You are a business. So you need to take time for your business. It's not just about churning out appraisal reports day in, day out, day in, day out. You need to take time to make sure that you are managing your business, and that it is working for you, and that you are successful and maximizing your profit. It's not a job, it's a business. It's not a job, it's a business. It's not a job, it's a business. I have to keep on saying that to you. If you're a sole proprietor or partner or whatever it is a business. So make sure that you're taking care of the accounting side of it, whether you use a bookkeeper or you have QuickBooks or whatever it is. Take time for your taxes, and that you manage your tax liability, all the things that you need to take care of for that to be successful on that. Manage your fees. One of the things I have seen in the last few months is fee creep. Fee creep because appraisers are busy, not because of complex assignments. That can be I don't know, difficult. I think that there is some indication that, certainly an indication that fees probably did need to kind of go up. But at some point, are you going by the market, or you're kind of giving a go away fee because you don't want to do the appraisal? So consistency on fees, I think, will keep your clients happy. Finding that correct level of customary and reasonable makes sense to me, and staying consistent with that. And that means your clients will be consistent in their use of you. Manage your payments. Make sure that your receivables are not going out of this world. Don't work with clients who don't pay you. And one thing that I cannot still believe is that some of you are still receiving a paper check. Get direct deposit or ACH debit or whatever, wherever possible. Your money will get to you sooner. It'll be right there. Education. We got to find time for education. I love this quote from Winston Churchill, one of my favorites. I am always ready to learn, although I do not always like to be taught. I am very much one of those people. Comes to taking my continuing education, I just want to poke my eyes out. Drives me crazy. But then I go, oh, I learned something. That's amazing. So make choices, the correct choices, when you look at your education. Don't just kind of slam it out there, when you're when you're coming up to your renewal date. Make some choices and look at where you can learn. It's all about the learning, and because we all realize you may not want to be taught. So always important to learn something. So that brings it to an end. for this morning. This is my email address, as most of you already know, scarruthers@trueunion.net. If there's something, if I zip through that a little quickly, and there's something that you did not get, we will be uploading this webinar later on onto our website. I will also be running this webinar on Thursday afternoon, so you can catch it then or have any of your colleagues catch it then. So thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. And hopefully, as Churchill said, you did learn something out of this, although it was a pain to be taught. So anyway, stay safe out there, and thank you again for joining us.